Hi friends, it is Tuesday, October 18th. We just finished our Board of Supervisors meeting and I wanted to let you know what happened. It started at a little after 9 and ended at about 11:51, so a relatively short meeting with a lot of conversation about some really important issues that I know you'll be interested in. I want to first thank Dr. Tisha Solomon. She's an Associate Professor of Family and Community Medicine at the U of A. She recorded a segment for the land acknowledgement. Thank you so much, Dr. Solomon. And then if any of you are interested in reading the land acknowledgement, please reach out to our office. We'd love to add you to the library of wonderful people in our community that are reading the land acknowledgement before our board meeting. I also want to thank Dr. DeMont Holt. Thank you so much for coming to the call to the audience to talk about Fresh Start. I know that Fresh Start is going to happen this Saturday, October 22nd at the TCC Grand Ballroom, and you're going to have a lot of services there, and this is for people who have been incarcerated and need a fresh start. And I know that all of the services will be very helpful. It's from 9 to 1. So go ahead and check that out if that's something that would benefit you. And then this Thursday, October 20th, from 10 to 4 p.m. is a job fair that'll also be at the TCC. And this is a regional job fair with the City of Tucson and Pima County. And so if you're looking for work at all, we have a lot of great options. Both organizations are really great to work with, but we'd love to have you in the county. Just a plug, you know. Okay, so then we had an item on election boards. We had one that the administrator put on the main agenda, and then we had Supervisor Christie put on yet another agenda item about elections. I'm really hoping that we can get to the point that we're not having a board meeting and discussing elections every single meeting, but I don't think that's going to happen. So this one, we voted unanimously to appoint the poll workers, the staff that are going to be at each of the voting centers. We still have 15 voting centers that need a balance in party, and really the party that we're looking for is Republican in order to have balanced polls at every site, or centers at every site, and have poll workers at every site that so there isn't this whole idea that this isn't a transparent process. If you are interested, please call 724-6830. That would be to the elections office, because they're looking for you. We talked about affordable housing, so I'm glad that happened. We appointed, or sort of resurrected, under a new name. It's a Pima County Regional Affordable Housing Commission. It's really long. I'm waiting for the acronym. It is an 18-person commission. 10 members of those 18 are going to be appointed by each member of the Board of Supervisors. So in District 5, I'll get 2 appointees. 1 member by the county administrator, and 7 members, 3 appointed by the City of Tucson, 1 appointed by each of the other incorporated cities and towns. So we have South Tucson, towns of Marana, Oro Valley, and Sahuarita represented. That'll make up the 18-person commission. We're asking a lot of this commission, and so if you want more details on that, if you go to Pima County agendas and just look it up, it will list there all of the goals of the commission. We also had an item on the agenda put on by Chair Bronson, and the title was Street Living Homeless Shelter. I am not supportive of the idea of having big facilities where we sort of like an encampment where we house homeless. I know that we might have different opinions on this issue, but in every city that we've researched, including the ones where we had a sanctioned tent city here in the City of Tucson, we have an example in Maricopa County who's currently being sued for theirs. They don't work, and I think we keep focusing programs on a really small percentage of homeless people in our community that other people have had an issue with, like they refuse to leave a certain area, or they're aggressive, or whatever. But I think it's such a small population, and what I'm really pushing for is to have smaller facilities that are providing supports to subcategories, like people that have similar demographics. And the example I gave during the meeting is, let's say we have a facility for people who are older, 70 and older, and need maybe some medical support. They need, it would benefit them to have the mental health support and a community, and have a small house that houses 8 to 10 at a time. I understand that isn't a huge impact in the larger number of homeless. But my thought is if we provide targeted supports, really meaningful supports to smaller groups, that we could actually get them off the streets and get them qualified for services that they likely have earned over a period in their lives. I'd really like to focus some energy on our younger population, those that are getting pushed out of the foster care system, 17 to maybe 20, and push those young people into more like or invite them to more like a dorm-like environment and really push them into education and work programs that would really benefit them. Our vulnerable populations, either younger or older, are more likely to be victims of crime if living on the streets. And so if we can prevent some of that and really help to support community members, my argument is we're a civilized society and a caring community, and we should not have people living on the streets. We shouldn't. There are different reasons why that's happening, and I don't think a huge facility that houses hundreds is going to solve that problem. We don't have an issue of empty beds. We have empty beds in different nonprofits. Gospel Rescue Mission has empty beds. Salvation Army has empty beds. I know the issue is those are higher barrier supports that are offered. You have to commit to certain things in order to be a part of it. But I do think that if we're going to be trying to build some community, people have to make some accommodations. And I don't think that having tents in our parks is a solution. I don't think having tents on a slab of vacant lot near the Kino complex is a solution. I don't think that converting or doing some modifications to the facility at 1801 South Mission that used to be the women's facility and jail, and it was previously as a minimum security facility for work release. I don't think that that's a solution, because who we're trying to target and who people are complaining about are a really small number of people that are homeless, that are causing some stress in neighborhoods. They walk through neighborhoods, maybe causing some damage or kind of hindering business in certain doorways in different places. I mean, we heard a couple of examples. I don't disagree that we have a problem that we have to solve, but I don't think creating a big institutional shelter is going to be the solution, because empty beds is not our issue. So we didn't vote on this item, which I thought was a little different. I heard the Chair Bronson say, well, you have your direction, and kind of looked at administration that was in the back row, and I don't know what direction they're going to take. So I'm committing to write a memo to our county administrator and to our chair to say, this is my position. I just want to make sure that I'm very clear and it can't be misinterpreted. So one of the things that I thought we should do is work with our law enforcement and the courts to try to figure out if there is a way for us to encourage participation in detox facilities, mental health and wellness screenings, those kind of things, to make sure that people are safe as they're leaving our facility. That's something I think that we haven't been doing as a county, and we absolutely should. But I don't know, I definitely don't think that these large facilities are going to be a solution. Okay, so we had Constable Michael Stevenson, who actually was the presiding constable, resign from his position as constable. And so we were charged with, one, we accepted his resignation, and then we're legally required by statute at this point to fill the vacancy. And so I'm hoping that we can look to see what we need to do. Do we have to ask the legislature to make some modifications to the statute to give us some flexibility? The function of the job should absolutely be a priority, but I'm concerned that we're not requiring law enforcement background. We have some constables that take more of a social worker approach, and we have some that take more of a law enforcement approach, and some of these functions can be done by process servers. Other functions can be taken on by law enforcement, and these are duly elected people in their own offices, so we can't as a county compel them to do things any kind of certain way. And I did ask that we request from Constable Stevenson before he leaves sort of like a exit interview of sorts, where we're asking what are the pros and the cons, what are some things that we can work on, what are some bumps that we should expect. And we also have a smaller number of constables that are actually doing the job right now. My understanding is we have 3. So if you look at the list, there are 10 listed and 3 that are actually currently working. So that's a problem. So that was the end of our meeting. I do want to remind everyone that early ballots are out, and so you should already have received them. If you don't have them, please contact the recorder's office at 520-724-4330 and ask for a replacement ballot, because you should have already received it by now. That is my understanding. We have early voting sites throughout Pima County. You can find those at recorder.pima.gov/early voting, or what I did is I put in Pima County early voting sites and the list came up. Please mail your ballot back mail it back as soon as possible. A really great thing that the recorder's office is doing is you can track your ballot. You just put in your phone number and it will send you text as to where your ballot is. So I encourage you to do that and do it as soon as possible, because there is going to be a rush at the end. There's going to be a lot of pressure on these voting centers to accommodate an increasing number of people, and you want to make sure that your vote is counted. And so our next meeting is November 1st. I think that was all for today. Thank you so much for your attention to Pima County politics. Stay safe, my friends.